Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to Super Fun Sunday. I didn't know I was going to do Anacleto today. I was trying to think of what I could do that would be different and a little out of the box. And I just wasn't really satisfied with the choices that I was sort of kicking around. And I had done a review yesterday or the day before for an artist who had a style similar to this, very fine art, very illustrative and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't really look at a ton of Anacleto art going into his review. I was just saying that it would be an artist that he may like. So let's look at some Anacleto. He's really, really good. In some ways, he does fly a little under the radar in comics, but he's been working in comic books for probably 20 to 25 years, and he's legit. He is very, very good. We'll open more files, but Manga Studio or Clip Studio kept crashing as I was trying to open these. These are all from Instagram, so settle back in and enjoy. And one quick plug for Patreon. This is the last month that I'm doing the $1 full access for my Patreon. I want to be clear of what my Patreon is, because I think there's some confusion and there's a lot of different ways that people handle Patreon. Patreon for me isn't, it's, I went there to work, and what I've been providing for people is things that can help you. It's basically like an art school online. I do show personal work and I do show other things like that. But generally, the week when I plan a week for Patreon, it's me trying to provide information, like art drawing tutorials, anatomy lessons, perspective lessons, 3-point perspective. We're doing clothing right now, anatomy, how to draw faces better or hair, whatever it is. We go through everything, inking videos. But so what I'm going to do is this, the plug will be over in 1 second, is there'll be new tiers, and what it will be you can still have all access. That will be one tier option. But for people that want educational content but don't want to get a direct lesson or review from me, you can take a beginner's course on drawing, an intermediate, or an advanced. And I will do videos specifically geared for those levels of skill, both in inking and in penciling. The reason being is I don't want to hold back for people that are more advanced by constantly going back to the fundamentals, and I was finding that problematic. So it's going to be very, very exciting. This month, you can go over there and check it out. There'll be a link in the description for $1. I have over 513 posts. This isn't like once a month I throw something up because I feel obligated to do it. I'm constantly uploading videos there, and they're generally like 30 minutes long. Yeah, you can check it out. I'm going to slowly sort of evolve it into what you're going to see. So throughout the month, it will be a very exciting month to check it out and actually see. And plus, you can get in for $1 and have full access and check out everything that I've done up to this point, which honestly, even for $25 is a fucking steal of the century. All right, let's go. And I won't curse a ton in this video. So this is a beautiful Anacleto piece. Is this seriously already locked up on me? See something. Oh, is it? What is? Okay, the zoom wasn't working for a second. We won't be able, I mean, these aren't high-res files, so we won't be able to go completely nuts on this. But this is a beautiful piece. So to me, this looks like it's graphite. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but we'll look at more pieces and see. But Jay is incredible. I've never met him, and the only person that I know that I think knows, well, Will probably knows him, but Brian Haberlin, who I'm friendly with, definitely knows Jay, and they've worked together. But man, Jay is really, really good. So this will be fun. This is, not regular comic art, though. This is, they are illustrations. He's so good. But yeah, the artist that I was doing a review for had a lot of these sort of aesthetics going on in their stuff. And I get where, you could come from this school of thought where it's like you've kind of looked at illustration, you might draw from photographs and things like that. But ultimately you're like, man, I kind of want to draw comic books. How do I blend my sort of realism? And you could see like maybe someone like Lee Bermejo has some of these aesthetics. I'm not saying he draws like Anacleto, but you know what I mean? It's got this sort of look. And there's many, many more artists that do this type of work. And now, you see people using wash, Copic multi-liners, blends of things. You generally won't see a ton of digital art that has this pencil look as much. You know, I mean, there are tools in Clip Studio and in Photoshop that can mimic graphite pretty good, but generally speaking, you won't see someone maybe finish a piece with this look in a digital program. But you could. This is fantastic, you know. It's interesting, I've always wondered what his process is, because I would assume that some of it is probably based on photo reference, and I think earlier on in his career it was more. I mean, obviously, if you're going to draw this realistic, you're going to need to look at life and how light does all these subtle things on figures and stuff like this. But stuff like this, you know, this you're going to have to work out on your own. And the problem is if you've used a face for photo, like say you had some fashion model and you're like, oh, okay, this is the perfect hair and everything that I want for this. Where are you going to get reference for this? The gloves holding these, you know, whatever, I guess they're swords, and then all this gear, and still light it to the level of the face. Because the thing is if this is drawn by you and you don't understand how you lit everything else in the piece, it's not going to connect the way that you would like. So over many, many years, he's been able to blend his fantasy with realism, and in a very nice way. Stuff like this, you know, hands, like rendering hands like this. Boy, you put shading going even the wrong direction on little areas, it'll make the hand just look bizarre. So, you know. Oh, okay, this looks like he went in and maybe inked it? I guess he inked over the pencils. I don't remember what the original piece looked like. I was too busy narrating. This is X23, I guess. This is cool, like a detailed. Okay, so this does look like he's going in and inking it. So this looks a little like ink wash to me. It's pretty strokey. You can see a lot of like dappling, meaning it's going on in like little like swatches of wash. It's interesting. Oh man, the fishnet was very cool. Hopefully there's another detail of the fishnet, as that was interesting. You know what? I'm gonna try to open it. I want to point out something that I spotted with that. Let me do this really quick. And again, these are all from Instagram. I just use, there's like some sort of Chrome app that can this is the piece, download almost full galleries. It's not as good. The problem is they're not real JPEGs that can open in Photoshop. It's super annoying, but they will open in the Clip Studio Paint in batches. But other than that, you're going to be doing one at a time in like a weird program. This is really nice though. Do you see how he did the fishnet and lit this? That is really, really freaking subtle. And you know, having photo reference for the face and having to go in and do this is just two completely different worlds. Look at how he lit this stuff. This is just on her freaking leg, a little tiny spot of her leg. He puts that attention to detail. Do you see these wraps, how that twists around? That's nuts. In a good way. That's a compliment. I'm saying that he's super committed to these pieces. From what I understand, this is sort of an interesting thing, and I don't know for a fact that this is true. I'm under the impression that this guy's a dentist, or was a dentist. I think at one point he was a dentist that did this stuff on the side. That was what I remember when I first heard about him in like the early 2000s, somewhere around there. I'm under the impression that he was actually a working dentist who did this as like, you know, could probably had a lot of natural ability and could draw from photos, and then wanted to do the fantasy thing, because that's the track that I sort of visualize that he might have been on, but I could be incorrect with that. But this is great. Again, you know, this is the stuff where he's bringing in that Adam Hughes kind of vibe. That's a tough shot to draw too. Beautiful upshot. The face is flattening out a tiny bit, and there would be a lot of cranium this way if you really kind of follow the head around. I know her head is going out, but it is flattening out here a little bit, but still really, really well done. This is all great. The hair is awesome too. He does killer hair. Sorry, there's like a helicopter or something flying around. Hey, Zealot. Her hands are a little tiny. You can see that this This right here looks a little flatter than some of the other stuff that we've seen. I'd be curious of what year he did this. This looks like his older work to me, and also the ear isn't really drawn very well. Not that it's a huge deal, but the ear is very flat and kind of... It's not completely flat, but there's some weird stuff going on with it. This is not to the level of the other stuff. I'm guessing this was done probably 10 to 15 years before the other stuff we're looking at. And these hands are okay, and this is all fine. Not hating, just pointing out what I see. This is interesting. Man, he is in for a long haul on these pieces. When you're putting this level of detail on like a face, oh my gosh, the rest of the piece, you really kind of have to deliver the goods everywhere. Hopefully there's a finished version of this, but this is nuts. And it's really, really good. It's really good. If you think it's easy, give it a shot on your own. It's not. This is excellent. Oh my goodness. Jay Anacleto, you are talented. This is awesome, man. She's cute. And this is really cool too. This is very, very nice. So on the review that I did yesterday for the guy, I was telling him that sometimes his backgrounds were a little lackluster in terms of value and clearness. And what was happening is he would spend all of his energy on something like this, and then all the hard work that it took to do something like this in his piece. His pieces weren't this elaborate, but it's still the same idea. It's like you can't hypercharge and do this and make it look like this and then phone in stuff in the background, because it's going to look really, really apparent. Man, this is good. It's funny because I never really see enough of his work in comics. I don't even really think it needs to be colored, to be quite honest. And if it is, it would have to be a very, very artistic colorist that would do it. But it's a shame that we don't see more of his work, meaning that like, I'm not aware of what he's currently working on. In fact, he had fallen off my radar, and I wasn't even following him on Instagram, which is a shame because I'm a fan. You know, I like this guy's stuff. I should be going like, oh yeah, I need to follow him. So hopefully he produces on a regular basis where we get to see the work. I want to say this is Aria. I don't know that for a fact. Man, the gear on that belt is cool. There's another artist that I always, sometimes when I see his work, I always think it's Lee Bermejo at first. God damn, the fucking planes. It's so annoying. It's a helicopter again. I don't even live near an airport. That's the frustrating thing. I don't know why the flight path is over my freaking house. Yeah, there's another artist that does stuff like this a little bit. He doesn't... The focus isn't so much on attractive girls. That's always been kind of Jay's thing, is he draws like real pretty girls. This is really cool. It's funny because if I just saw this and someone said, who do you think this is? I would probably guess Lee Bermejo, or the other guy that I'm thinking of that his name escapes me right now. Lee would render this more. It would be more high contrast shadows. And in fact, the perspective on this buckle right here is a little tiny bit off. It needs to go this way more. Just a bit. A little bit. It's a little tiny bit. It feels a little too like it's dropping down. But this is cool. Man, the mouth is great. That's so hard to do. One, he's got teeth that look nice and look like they're in perspective. He's got that little bit of shading on it. He's showing gums. He's showing some of the inner of the mouth. The lip looks killer. It's really, really good. Challenging to do. But bad drawn mouth is very unforgiving. Look at this. This guy's great, right? Again, how do you find reference for something like this? I mean, I suppose you could cobble it together, but man, he sets the bar high for himself in terms of what he's got to figure out. But he uses some generics. Like the lighting on this stuff is pretty stock. He just has a central light source going down. And if you're on Patreon, I showed an example of something very similar to this just recently in a video, how it's lit. folds. We've been going over folds on clothes. But this is different than the folds we were studying. Do you see? This is more similar to what we have, but it's a lumpy leather jacket. So we haven't gone over like leather coats yet, but we will. And this stuff is great. Really, really cool. This is nice. And his moon rendering is cool. He didn't do the craters. I mean, like, where they're super 3D. I was called the Wally Wood moon. This is nice. I think this is Aria. Look at that castle in the background. Dang. That is really cool. It would be hard to do. He's committed. He puts his swords at cool angles, too. This is really, really nice. Very subtle. And this is a great hand. That's really, really nice. Man, look at this. Excellent. This is all cool. And it doesn't look flat. The way he renders the form, it's really got like a nice 3D quality to it. This could really flatten out. Here's just enough shading on it where it still looks pretty good. It's a little... This would maybe, for like just my own personal taste would be, I would maybe flare these thighs out a little bit more this way. But the hair is great too. Look at that. God dang. This dude is nuts. Oh man, look at the camel on her pants. That's great. Oh, it's on her top too. I didn't notice that. I don't know why my zoom is lagging. This is cool, man. And he lit this. On top of the fact that he did a camo thing, actually the values are, I think, is this? No, it's the trajectory. I was going to try to darken it a little. Anyway, but yeah, this is cool. But he actually lit this. There's like a light, so the values on the actual camo itself, do you see how they're much lighter here? Really, really cool. It's subtle, and these are great. Whew. Here comes another frickin' helicopter plane. It's the copper chopper. They're looking for perps. That's cool. Man, this guy is so good. He did these great Marvel pieces that were like all these heroes. It had a very like Maxfield Parrish kind of vibe to it. I don't know if he had it on his Instagram. I felt like I was seeing parts of it, but not the pieces I was thinking of. But it's like a bunch of superheroes standing on like mountains with like clouds and snow and stuff. Or it's how I remember it, at least. It's really cool. Wow, God. Yeah, those are tough shots, especially with this realistic style like this. You really have to hit all the values on this really, really subtle. But boy, you know, wrong shading or wrong direction of a shape, and all of a sudden it's gonna look real weird. This is cool too. I think if he did more work, he would be huge. You know, like if he just did 2 covers a month for DC, that would give him exposure or something like that. You know what I mean? Marvel, if he was doing 2 or 3 covers for Marvel a month, and then like a book a year. I cannot take fucking noise outside. Sorry, I had to shut the sliding door. It's just too much. This is really cool. The jacket's great. He's really good with these thick like leather jackets. This is very cool. And the background is fantastic too. I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten into painting more with his stuff. He's practically there. I mean, he's doing almost painted work with like graphite, but he could definitely paint. There's no doubt in my mind. This is great too. Yeah, he and Lee Bermejo are kind of cut from the same cloth. Texture City, man. It's like look at the denim here. It's nuts. The pleat. We were looking at military pants on Patreon, but look at this detail. But odds are he is using reference for this, so you know what I mean. That helps because you can sit, and if you're patient enough, you can kind of match this stuff up if you've got a good sketch. But look at this hand. I'll go back. It's a little too blown up. That is really good. And all this. You know, again, you start shading this stuff a little incorrectly, and all of a sudden you're going to have weird lumps and bumps and all kinds of stuff, and that face is great, too. This is nice. This little piece of technology back here. He really packs it full of detail. Goodness gracious. All right, this is fun. It's very different than the stuff that we normally look at, and I like that. You know what was the one thing that I almost considered doing was I was gonna grab a few old heavy metal magazines and just see what was inside of them, but it felt a little risky too because that could tank if I didn't grab good issues. So this at least has more of a solid theme. It's nice. It's different, but I like that Wonder Woman. I mean, it's really cool. It's almost got a little bit of a Frazetta vibe than the eyes and nose. Oh, that's cool too. Damn. Jesus. I'll put a link to Jay's Instagram. For sure follow him. He deserves it. My God. That is so cool. It's just so, man, the level of commitment this dude has to these drawings is insane. Like stuff like this has got like a Travis vibe, and this is what sent Travis over the edge. It's like you start having to do this on every piece, you can wind up in the cuckoo house. No, I don't. You know every piece that you do is going to take a little while. That's for sure. Yeah, that's cool. But, you know, I mean, that's probably from a model's face. But lighting the costume and stuff like that is not going to be easy. I love her arms. This is great. Look how subtle that is. I got to meet this guy. I gotta search him out. If he's at Comic-Con next year, I'm going to definitely hunt his table down and say hello. This man alive. He is really good. Oh, I'm so glad that I picked this. This is fun. It's so different. I watched the McFarlane Like Hell I Won't documentary. I finished it up. I had started it during Comic-Con, but I finished it here. Her abdomen is a little like it's a little off. I get what he's doing, but it feels a little narrow right there. It's not super noticeable. This hand feels a little truncated too. Like that he could have almost pulled this out just the tiniest bit. Still really, really good. But yeah, it's funny to go from McFarlane to something like this. Talk about night and day. Okay, so let's open more files. I'm into it. So we'll just go like this. Look at some of the recent stuff he's been doing. I got to be careful not to crash. The Clip Studio was having a lot of trouble opening. We don't need the boob version. It's not a big deal. We can come back in and grab more. Let's just see what we got here. God dang, this dude is nuts. Okay, that'll be good. We'll open more in a sec. I just don't want this thing to die on me. It's weird because look, it like ramps up and then it just opens them all at once. Oh, there. Okay, it did it. Good. All right. Yeah, it would keep going to black screen. It wouldn't open it. Okay, so this is the Vampirella piece, and these are some sexy babes floating around in the cauldron. Here's the full piece. It's cool. I like how he drew her face. And this is nice, nicely done. He's got a little bit of like sort of that I call it the drunk guy nose, but in color people will do that where they kind of put like a shade, like a reddish sort of thing on the nose. This leg gets a little tiny bit weird. It's probably accurate, but it looks weird. Again, this is a lot of work. Damn. If you're into this super graphite-y style, although he's not a comic book artist, I mean, I would recommend Miles Johnson. He's been doing some really great stuff for several years, but, you know, he's heading towards 1 million followers on Instagram, so I'm sure most of you follow him already, but, you can see this background it doesn't have the same amount of attention to detail. It's a little more simplistic. It's not the crime of the century, but this looks a little more simple than his earlier work. The weight of the world relies on every piece. That's nice. Damn. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This has got a very like kind of Maxwell Parrish sort of vibe to it. He's probably a Rockwell fan too. I don't know why he wouldn't be, but Rockwell, Parrish, Alphonse Mucha. If you look at the right stuff, I mean, all of Mucha is good, but man, that's cool. There's certain Mucha that is a little more probably comic booky, and then he did a ton of sort of Art Nouveau stuff. That's kind of the more famous stuff. This is cool. The like I've done stuff like this, not probably to this level, but I'm telling you, this area right here is so difficult to get to look right, and then the hands, and he is really really good at both. But yeah, the abdomen can get a little sort of funky, and even lighting boobs, it's like, because it's obviously something that people are going to focus on. Yeah, if you kind of mess it up, it's pretty obvious. This is nice too. I like the detailing in here. So he's got like core shadow, he's got lighting, and then this ornate sort of etching in it. Really, really beautifully done. You see that? That ain't another layer, folks. That's called well planned out illustration. The hair is fantastic too. This is great. I'm telling you, in terms of complexity, to draw a face like this is hard. On a scale from 1 to 10, it's hard. I'm writing this with a mouse. Hard. I'm going to take it to the end. There. Smiley face for you. All right, let's go. Oh, it's funny. This one is so dark. In color, it wouldn't be as noticeable, but yeah, that's weird. Oh, that's cool. I really like the background. I'm not as crazy about her looking off to the side like this, but this is a fantastic layout, and this is really, really cool. Let's look at this again. He's kind of doing that thing again. Look at the values on this freaking thing. I mean, in theory, I guess he could be going in with like a white like Prismacolor pencil and sort of sketching in a little bit of that detail. It's really, really nicely done, and it doesn't even stand out as a different quote-unquote medium. Yeah, I don't really even know how he did that. And look at this. He is crazy. He and Lee Bermejo should get together because they're both nuts. This looks a little like he might have took an eraser. Maybe. I don't even know. I have no idea what he did to get those patterns. Wow. Jay, if you ever see this, one, you're awesome. Two, it's a shame that more people aren't celebrating your work online, like in videos and stuff like that. So hopefully this will get some exposure. This is great. I love the pose. That's really, really cool. Man, look at that hand. Talk about not taking the easy way out. Most people would maybe have the hand like kind of just like lying here. He's like, I'm going to have every finger kind of doing an evil, little evil pose. This is cool too. Oh, she's not supposed to have a belly button. If this is Deja Thoris, right? That's the deal with her. No belly button. This is nice. Yeah, this is cool. We'll do a few more. I'm down to look at a little bit more. This is pretty fun. Like I said, I like that it's so different. So different than just traditional, like, I mean, it's comics, but it's done in such a different way. Yeah, let's grab some of these. Ooh, what's this? Can we grab this. Try to avoid just the pure pinup girls ones a little bit, and try to grab ones that look like there's maybe a little something crazy going on. Let's see what this is. This. Grab like 3 more. Like I said, I don't want it to crash. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, this piece is awesome. I almost shot this video, or no, you know what it was? I'm thinking of was when I did the review. Oh, let's check out that. Oh man, I'm playing with fire here. Just open them, Rich. You can always come back. Oh, crap. Let's just open them. I don't want it to crash. It seemed like it was crashing. What's weird is I've done other videos. I did the Aaron Horkey video the same exact way. They were all Instagram files, and I was able to open like 100 of them at once. But for whatever reason, these weren't. So this is interesting. I like the lighting on this piece quite a bit, and the car is great. That wheel gets a little tiny bit weird. Do you see that there? He lost the perspective a little bit, but this is excellent. Man, this is fun to look at. It's really, really trippy to see comic art done in such a realistic way with style. It's refreshing, I have to say. I will do a video on Lee Bermejo at some point too. This is really good, man. Love the perspective that he did on this, and this is great too. Look at these bricks, how they're all juxtaposed. I thought that was really, really cool, the way that they're laid in. Do you see the turns on them and stuff like that? That's really, really cool. This is really neat too. And her belt, he does great gear. Always turns the sword to an exciting angle. The boots are good. Go, Jay, go. Oh, yeah, look at that. I feel like I was looking at a lot of Spider-Man lately. Maybe it's just because everybody on Instagram's been posting Spider-Man art. I don't know, this reminds me of something. Not the drawing, but something I was looking at. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, that's really cool. Damn. He fought the temptation to put anyone in the windows looking. Draw your friend in the window. Oh, man. This is okay. I'm not crazy about this guy's face. Hard to say when he did this. You know, he's always drawn with this level of rendering. So, you know what I mean? When the drawings don't look as insane as some of the other ones, part of it could just be the time frame of when he did it, because obviously there's a learning curve with doing stuff this nuts. Man, this is crazy. That's nice. And Batman with all the ladies. God dang, this guy is... He puts a lot of work into these pieces. Well, this was exciting, and it feels good to do a YouTube video, honestly. I was a little behind on reviews and lessons, and so I had to do about 13 or 14 this week, which wasn't a big deal. I had the time to do it, but just I needed to get them done, so I would do long days of reviews and lessons, which was good. It was really interesting. And I think going back and then just being able to appreciate all the hard work that goes into something like this and seeing the result is exciting. Because if you're dealing with people that are trying to learn to draw well, whatever style that they're doing, and then you see someone who's put in the hard work and you're not as familiar with their work, and you go, yeah, you know what? If you dig in and you're really committed to something, you can do whatever you want with your art. And that is exciting. Do you see in here what I'm talking about, though? How this could go seriously wrong if you lit it. He's really got a lot of definition on here, and her body doesn't necessarily sell me that she's this ripped here. But, you know, he kept the values light enough that it's not super obvious. But yeah, that could have gotten away from him. So things like that are tough. This kind of stuff, if you have too much of a hard edge, or if it starts to suggest weird anatomy, it can look real weird fast. Another just brutal perspective shot. That is so good. Man. It's funny because, look, check this out. This is really funny. He put so much work into the realism of this and this and this, and his silhouettes of his bats are not very good. They're okay, but it's funny that he didn't make them... I'm not saying that they needed to be more realistic, but these are pretty, like, clunky outlines. I'm just saying that like, even the tips of the wings, do you see how rounded they are, even on these little tiny ones? It works though. I mean, it's not like I don't look at it and completely notice it, but it's funny. I wonder if someone else did that. I mean, I see the poses that he's putting them in. Like this one's kind of torquing and almost like circling around. Yeah, it's funny. But the bats are not drawn at the same level as everything else. But man, this is just off the charts killer. And this is really, really cool. I love the fact that he cropped this like this. Like, he didn't feel the need to draw literally her on a gargoyle, but you get the sense that she is. And this is just crazy good. I mean, I don't, you know, like people that are pretty serious about draw through and stuff like that might go like, her leg could never go here because if the statue is here, where is her leg? It doesn't really bother me. I'm sold on the moment. This just looks so good. And this building behind her is awesome. I want to know what's inside it, and that's always a good. I like drawings like that where when you see this, you go, man, I don't even know what that building is, but let's go. Let's see what lurks inside there. This is good too. Man, the subtlety of the rendering on the face is really, really well done. Hand gets a little rubbery, not too bad. His doom could look a little more mean or something. The cloak up here gets a little nondescript. Even in here a little bit. He doesn't really sign dates, so it's hard to know when the pieces were done. This is cool. He's really good with these faces, man. That's nice. This is cool too. The arm gets a little weird, but this is nice right here. Booty. Booty. Damn. Wow. God dang. That's nuts too. Grab the whole piece. Okay, this is a detail that. We'll do one more batch of Cheshire Cat. It's funny. We'll do one more batch of pages, and we'll call it. Since I didn't do a ton of videos this week, we'll soak in a little more art. So I think we're right about here. His dog. She's like, "You gonna do more drawing today, Jay?" That is an old Aria piece. Maybe not old, but that's the character that I kind of first, I think, got aware of him on. Let's look at some of these dark ones. I want to see if I can find... This was interesting. We'll pull this up, too. I was curious what that is. Oh, yeah. Well, check out this. Yeah, I don't think he put the piece that I was thinking of with the dudes on the mountain. Wow, this is crazy. Let's check out that. Oh, so this looks like a new cover. This is Punchline. Let's get this Betty Page colored. Right. And then we'll wrap up this video. I think we did good. Wow, look at that. Damn. Wow, that is so impressive. Dude, look at Punchline's face. This is pretty good too. His Joker looks nice. Harley's cute. She looks a little older than I picture Harley Quinn, but you know, it's his world. I could go with that one. See, if I was the editor, I would totally encourage him to do covers, but I would try to figure out how I could get like an 8-page Batman story out of him. I wouldn't push this guy to do way more, but I would be like, come on, let's do like an 8-9 pager of you telling stories. We'll print it in this grayscale, unless he would want it in color. It would be so good. This is really, really nice. Her breasts are very weird. I don't know what is going on with the nipples there. Oh, was curious about this. This looks older. You can kind of tell. Like, it's got the detail. He just didn't draw as well as he ended up. This says Danger Girl, so this could have been literally like 20 years ago. But you can see it drifts a little bit more. The gun is this part of the gun, or what is this? Is this part of the plane? I don't even know. Yeah, he started with this crazy look, you know. This is really nice. Gorilla. Alright, we're heading towards the finish line on this. Princess Leia. Check out the gun. This is nice. Pretty good. You know, squeezing in a hand like that, it can really look weird. But he makes it work. There's enough. The angle and everything seems close enough where it doesn't catch your eye as looking just like a little gimpy arm. This is cool. Is this wash or is this all graphite? I guess it's graphite. This dude must go through a lot of lead. His hands are probably always dirty. That's pretty cool. Is this... like I said, I can't even tell really what this is. If this is wash. This could be inked. I can't really be sure. Pretty dynamic. Wow. The lighting is magical. This is really cool right here. I like this a lot. Cool angle to put this like block at, and everything looks good. This is nice. Yeah, fascinating. This was really, really interesting video. You won't see this every day. This, like, I don't know why, man, it's actually really, really well done, but, who's the artist that everyone always goes after? Is it Greg Land? I can't think of his name. One of those artists that does sort of like the sort of realistic thing. I mean, in my opinion, and I'm actually not a Greg Land hater. I don't maybe like completely get behind everything that ethically he's maybe done for his work, and I don't really know the whole story on him. But Jay seems to draw a bit more. I get the feeling that he uses reference to get the level of realism that he wants, but I definitely get the impression that he blends it with like comic book poses that he likes, and is putting together a pretty like a pastiche of his influences. This is really cool. This area right here is really well done, and he always does the fabric like this stuff really, really nice. Okay, we got one last thing. It looks like this is the grand finale. The lighting is pretty wild on this. I wish he would sign the date. I'm thinking this is older. These are from the archives. You can sort of tell. Because when he has to draw, it's not exactly at the same level. You know what I mean? This looks more like he drew this. And this pose is kind of funny. He looks like he's trying to itch his back. Like he got fleas. Alright, have a great day. That was really fun. Jay, you are awesome. Oh my god, this stuff is ridiculously you set a high benchmark for yourself, and boy, I'll tell you what, you got there, my friend. Alright, I'll talk to you guys all later. Definitely check out Patreon. This is the last month to get in when the getting's cheap. Next month it goes up. That's the way it is. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.